Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Meet Praneeth. In today's video, we are going to discuss the October Visa Bulletin, the much awaited visa bulletin that we were all looking forward to. There were a couple of reasons behind it. First, we know that there will be no visa numbers, so we wanted to see if there is any spillover like we used to have during the COVID or after the COVID. So is there any extra numbers of visa that are going to come in which can help the retrogression specifically for Indian applicants? And the other reason was that we saw that EB1 became EB2. So its priority date moved back to 2012, the final action charts. And we were hoping that in the October Visa Bulletin, once the new numbers are arriving, we'll see some movement and it will basically come back to 1st Feb 2022. But it's a different story altogether. I'm not sure if you have gone through the Visa Bulletin on the website of uscis or through other videos, but it's not a good news. However, I've still kind of categorized this whole Visa Bulletin into three parts: the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'll go through each of these, and I think it will help you understand what kind of situation Indian applicants are in. Specifically Indian applicants. I think rest of the categories are still, countries are still doing better, but I think for Indians it's becoming really, really difficult. The reason I say that because I consult for EB1. I help people understand the requirements. I help them make a plan of action, help them with what are the things they can work on their profile, help with the profile development. But if the dates will go back, they will retrogress, then what's the point of this hard work, right? And a lot of people have this question that, well, is it EB1A? Is it EB1B? Like there's so many people applying in this category. I don't think so. EB1A and B is toughest to crack. I think there's a lot of influx of EB1C. And a lot of people say this. I'm not sure how correct it is, but a lot of people say that it's the most abused EB1 category, which is EB1C. Well, I'm not sure if abuse is the right word, but yes, a lot of people use EB1C to upgrade their EB2 or EB3 petitions. And there are people generally working hard for EB1A and B who I don't blame. It's not their fault. It's just that if this retrogression starts to happen, then they will lose their motivation. They'll lose their will to work towards it. However, let's discuss it, and we'll discuss it with the whole positive vibe and hope that things will become better in the future. So starting with the good, right? All of us wants to look or hear something good before we move into the bad and the ugly. And remind you, I'll also keep one good news which I'll share in the end, at the very end of the video, so that when you exit the video, you go with a positive mindset. So the good news is, if you're going to file in the family-based green card category, specifically into F2A category, which is spouse and children of permanent residents of United States, then there's a good news for you. The good news is that there is some advancement, almost an year of advancement, 11 months for rest of the world, for India, for China, and for Philippines. For Mexico, it's almost 3 years. So the charts on the screen will show that story, how I'm saying that, well, there is a movement for India. And this is good because that means the new numbers that have arrived in the 2024 Visa Bulletin is helping F2A or the family-based category move forward. Now the question comes, what is the bad, right? So if we scroll through, and on the screen, you will now see two new charts. These are the final action charts for the employment-based category. So the bad is that overall, there's not much change that we could see in the EB1, EB2 or EB3 category for India. There is some movement here and there, definitely for EB2 and EB3, but not something that we were expecting for EB3 and that EB1. And that's what I have basically categorized into the ugly. We were all hoping that EB1 will probably come back to 1st February 2022, which was its original retrogression date this year, in the very early of this year when it got retrogressed. But it went back to 2012 Jan. Now it has come back to 2017 Jan. That's still 6 years of retrogression in EB1. Again, I'm not sure if EB1C is the whole culprit or whatever has happened, but the hope is it should become or it should have some advancement, because that's the only hope that the Indians have or Indian applicants have to at least apply to work towards their professional profile, put in the hard work and get things moving. So I hope, fingers crossed, that the things happen in the right light, and hopefully EB1 will progress specifically in the coming visa bulletins. Now for the next year, like the coming year, I'm not sure how much movement we will see. Hopefully there will be some movement. But let's quickly discuss what has changed for the employment-based category in terms of the final action dates. So if you look at the charts, you will see that for EB1, clearly it has moved to 2017, so there is a 5 years advancement, but still 6 years of retrogression. The good news again that we can see here is the rest of the world has moved and has become current, so there's no retrogression there. For EB2 India, if you see, there's a 1 year of advancement. For EB3 India, there's almost 3 years of advancement. And for rest, it has also advanced here and there a little bit, but not by a huge number. I'm mostly focusing on India this time because this is what we were more interested in looking at after the new numbers have been arrived. Now, the final good news that I wanted to share so that you can go with a positive mindset is, if you remember my previous videos where I tell you how this spillover works from EB1 to EB2 to EB3. So what happens is, all the visa numbers that come, they're the first allotted to EB1. If something is left in EB1, it goes to EB2, it trickles down to EB3, and then for EB4 and EB5, something is not used, goes back to EB1. So the good news is that if you look at the October Visa Bulletin, the date of filing, the final action dates, EB1 row has become current. That means if there is no retrogression, there are like all the applicants would have the visa numbers available. If something is left there, that would trickle down to the most retrogressed country, which will be EB1 India. So that is some hope. So if there are some numbers of visas which are not used in, that might go to EB1 India, and that would help it progress. And hopefully, because EB4 and EB5 also, let's say there's EB4 is retrogressed, but EB5 if something is not used, then that might also go to EB1, specifically to India because it's the most retrogressed. And it's all based on the INA, which is the Immigration Nationality Act. So this is the positive news that could basically help EB1 India move. By how much? I'm not sure. But hopefully in the coming months, in the coming year, we'll see some movement. And with that, I wanted to close this video. Again, a quick note. I'm still not sure if you should use the date of filing because it's not clearly mentioned. So please consult your immigration attorney. Make sure what chart you should use, whether final action date or whether the date of filing for your I-485 petition. With that, all the very best, and yeah, let's connect on LinkedIn. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye. See you soon in the next video.